understanding the process and terms involved for purchasing a house can better prepare you for when you decide to buy your first home. First, I'll explain the cons of purchasing a house. Then I'll move on to discussing the pros of purchasing a house. So when buying a house, you should always look at both the pros and cons that fit your family's needs and your needs. It's important to first look at the cons of purchasing a home before you take that big leap. Most of the time, you have to make a down payment when you're purchasing a house. And for someone of low economic status, that can be difficult to obtain. People who don't have a savings account or who don't have extra money on their paychecks have much more of a hard time being able to put money aside to save up for that. People who struggle with this may find it easier to rent until they're back on their feet, or until they can save extra. If anything in your home breaks or becomes damaged, you have to either come up with the money to fix it, or take out a loan, which adds more debt onto the family. Not all damages are cheap either. Costs of damages on the house can range from $1 to even costing more than the worth of the house. According to SoFiLearn.com, foundation repair can cost anywhere from $450 to $11,000. Electrical issues can cost anywhere from $318 to $15,000. Roof repair can cost anywhere from $650 to $10,000. $523 to repair a water heater on average, and $1,000 just to replace the water heater. On average, water damage can cost $2,330. These are damages that you aren't warned about beforehand and could possibly happen as soon as the day after you purchase the house. Purchasing a home is more of a long-term investment compared to renting. When purchasing a house, it's best to make sure that you're going to start your roots there. Once you purchase this house, if you want to move, you would either have to pay on two houses or sell the original house, which can be a very big hassle. For people who move around a lot, purchasing a house may not be the best option for them. Instead, they should be looking to rent. That way, it puts less stress and less hassle on the family. So now that I talked about the cons of purchasing a house, let's talk about the pros of purchasing a house. While there are some cons of purchasing a house, there are also many pros to purchasing a home. When you purchase a house, you gain an asset. This in turn increases your overall net worth. According to consumerismcommentary.com, an asset is defined as something that you own. When you purchase your home, it has a value attached to it. This value can increase your net worth due to it being an asset. If you have a mortgage on it, on the other hand, it can possibly become a liability. According to Investopia.com, you calculate your net worth by taking your assets and subtracting your liabilities from it. If you have more assets than liabilities, then your net worth has a positive. If you get a mortgage, the money that you pay every month goes towards something that you own. Whereas if you pay rent, sometimes you're paying high amounts and are not able to own the thing for the long term. When you purchase your home, as long as you make an appropriate payments, your house is yours. You pay monthly payments for something that you will end up owning. When you rent, you're making payments towards something that you may never own, unless you're in a rent-to-own agreement. When you are purchasing a home and when you own it, you have the ability to choose from a home that is perfect for you and your family, and not have the limitations of rent in your area. There tends to be a lot more options available for families that are looking to purchase a home as opposed to renting a home. Let's say that you want to buy a house that has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths and a swimming pool in the backyard. It's going to be a lot easier to find a house to purchase with that as opposed to finding a place that's available for rent for such an arrangement. Now, if you wanted a house that I just mentioned, you could easily settle for a house that has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths and then add a pool because you own the house. And you can make these decisions without having to ask a landlord about it. Your credit score will increase when you take out a mortgage and make payments on time. This is extremely important for those who can afford to. And when they want to take out a smaller loan in the future, it's a lot more possible because you have such a good credit score. The higher your credit score, the better rates you'll get and the higher chance that you'll have to be approved for them. So due to you owning a house, you don't have to worry about the possibility of having to move out due to the decisions of a landlord to sell the property. you feel more secure and stable with home ownership. Because you don't own the house, there's a chance that you could end up losing it in the event that the landlord no longer wants to rent it out or keep the property. Landlords have the option of selling their house if they no longer want to rent it out, which leaves renters to have to find somewhere else to live and causing a lot of stress on the family, or just on themselves if they don't have a family. So now that I've spoken about the pros and cons of purchasing a home, Rihanna is going to be speaking about the finances involved in purchasing a house.